Today we have a special guest coming on all the way from Accra, Ghana, and we're going to be talking about becoming rich from your passion. Not just becoming profitable, but becoming rich. Amen. Yes. I'm pretty excited because I think it's really good to have practical solutions, lived experience, and really speak from wisdom of women who are actually doing the work. And so today we're going to have a very special guest, Chichi Yakubu, and she is a restaurateur based in Accra, Ghana, but she's also an influencer. She's the founder and CEO of NyoNyo Essentials, which is a catering business that has now become, she has a number of restaurants. She has a catering business. She's now teaching people about the business of catering. I had a great opportunity to meet with her last time I was in Accra. And as a matter of fact, she is hosting our welcome dinner when we come to Accra. For those of you that don't know, and you're just meeting me for the first time, my name is NyoNyo, and I'm the lead coach for the Iconic Womanhood community and suite of programs. And one of the things we do is we do an annual feminine leadership retreat. And this year we're actually expanding it. We're doing our retreat as well as a whole tour. We're doing a 10-day experience in Ghana. And inside of that 10-day experience is our weekend retreat called the Iconic Woman Weekend. So Chichi is actually hosting us for our experience. The women who are coming from the US, from the UK, we even have actually a couple of people coming from Nigeria that are coming from Canada. So we have a number of women coming to Accra to experience Accra, go on the tours. We have a transformational tour created, and Chichi is hosting us for our first welcome dinner. And so I had the chance to meet with her, and I wanted her to come on and share what she has learned in creating a successful business. She has more than one branch, right? Her food is excellent, right? And she also she's a mother, she's a wife and a mother, and she also has this thriving influencer business. Thriving. She is a brand representative for many brands. If you follow her online, you will see. And so she should be on shortly. But while I'm waiting for her to come on, I'll tell you more about her. Like I said, she's the founder and CEO of NyoNyo Essentials. She has a background in human resources and a certificate in executive marketing from Harvard University. And she started her business from her own weight loss journey. So her whole thing was creating healthy, delicious food, and she started meal prepping and planning, and from there her business grew, and now she's one of the most sought after catering companies in Ghana, and she has 2 restaurants in Accra. So she's taking her passion for quality food and service, right? And she's worked so hard and built this business from the ground up. That's why I wanted her to come on today, because she's built it from the ground up. Okay. And I think there are a lot of people that want to do what she's done and want to take, or maybe you started and you want to take it further. I'm looking forward to, once she gets on, to her being able to share how she did it, step by step, how she's able to continue to be an inspiring businesswoman and entrepreneur, continue to be a mother, manage all the different pieces. And I'll tell you a little bit about when I went, when we met in Accra. We met online, but we hadn't met in person. And when I got there, right, and this is the interesting thing, and what I loved about Chichi too, and a lot of the women I've met in Ghana, right? And a lot of the women I meet, period, right? I just happen to be focused on Ghana at the moment. But what I found was really interesting was how warm she was, how warm and unassuming she was. And we got on. In fact, we did a TikTok when we first met. So I'm really excited to see her. So in the meantime, I'd love to get your questions, right, about how to become rich from your passions. And I will happily share as well a little bit about our journey, because my business was also started from a passion. In fact, a lot of people don't know my origin story. I used to tell it a lot, but I'll tell my origin story while we wait for Chichi to come on and share. And so how did I start being a coach? I didn't start out saying I wanted to become a coach, because when I actually became a coach, coaching was not a thing. It wasn't a thing. There were, it was just beginning to get started. And I just knew, I went through my own transformation, and I said, oh, you know what? I've gone through this experience. Women need this experience. And so I had my first event born out of my passion. It was so successful. And from there, my business was born. Go along, kind of have a conversation about two entrepreneurs, passionpreneurs, if you will, but actually taking that and making it something profitable and rich.
Hey, baby.
And here we go.
Hey, baby. Oh, my
diva
love, how
herself.
are you?
How are you? So good. You look lovely as
Thank
always.
You.
Never
Thank you.
fail.
I had to look iconic enough for you.
Listen, I saw your post. Just let me go to your page. I saw your post, whether it was this one. I said, I had to go and put lipstick on. I said, they're not ready. I said, what? She's giving body. I said, no. Let me run upstairs.
Everything iconic.
I love it. I love it. Thank you for coming on, Chichi. It's such a pleasure to have. I had just read to them your bio and talk to them about how wonderful you are, from the work that you've been able to do, how it was born out of your own weight loss journey, and how you've now taken this thing from meal prepping and planning to being one of the most sought after catering companies. And I told them that Chichi is actually, NyoNyo is actually hosting our welcome dinner.
Yeah.
When we arrive.
I cannot wait to host them. I don't wait to host like my fellow iconic women in Accra, Ghana.
I'm excited. And I was so excited when you said yes, you would host us, because I want everyone. I feel like even though I know that our own jollof rice is better, even though
don't even start that. But you know the funny part, I'm half Nigerian, half Ghanaian, so I'm the best fit to actually make the best jollof so we can end the war.
Oh, I love
I'm a 50 Ghanaian, 50 Nigerian, so I mean, I'm making the best of both worlds. I have that blood flowing in me.
I love
the best of both worlds. So you can imagine, my jollof end the war.
Fantastic.
You don't end them.
In fact, you were born for this moment right here. This is peacemaking jollof right here.
Yeah,
peacemaking. That explains a lot.
That explains a lot. The
Niger part of you.
Anytime someone finds out that, oh, you're half Ghanaian, you're half Nigerian, that makes sense. No wonder you're jollof. I just cannot know whether I should side with my people from Nigeria or I should be shouting Ghana jollof. I get confused. I'm like, yeah, I'm ending the war.
There you go. For it. End of discussion. I love it. So we're going to have an end of discussion, end of the war jollof when Chichi hosts us on October 14th. And you're hosting us after our first event in Ghana, which is also right up your alley. So, I'm going to call you about that one. Just get ready. Because our first event in Ghana is really something that I feel really represents a lot of you as well. And we'll talk more about your story. But the first event is called Love, Beauty, and Womanhood. Okay. And can I just tell my story about how you and I we connected and when we met in Ghana? Yeah. So we connected online, right? And I'll say this, and this is going to be the first offering I'm going to give to everyone listening, because sometimes I think that we are a bit too guarded or standoffish, and we are afraid to really connect. But when I reached out to Chichi, because I actually reached out to her, and we connected, and it was like she was so warm. And I'm like, oh, I love it, right? And sometimes when people are accomplished, they're a little bit, hey, what do you want from me? But she was very warm. And then when we met in Ghana, here's what struck me. I don't know if I shared that with you. I loved that when you came, it was very unassuming, right? Like Chichi's an it girl. Like she's an it girl. Like you're all that girl, right? All through and through, right? And she knows she's that girl, but she came in really, you just came in and you embraced everybody, relaxed. Then we did a TikTok. We did at the time, what was that song? One Legged was
jumped on the trend at the time. Yeah. I can't even remember. It was one of the
One Legged, that thing.
One Legged.
We jumped on a trend. We did it right there in the Kempinski Hotel. And we just had such a good time. And I remember thinking, I see why you are so successful. Because passion is one of the key ingredients. And you are a woman who exudes it in everything you do. In everything you do. So that's what makes you iconic in my book.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm humbled. Like, you have no idea. When I connect with powerhouses such as you, and you come up as someone who just wants to see the girl next door thrive, win, it's becoming something I'm trying to, come to understand that this is it and this is how it's supposed to be. It wasn't common. It's never been, but people like you have made it your mission to create a platform for women to come together and to know that we are a force together. There is so much power that we exude that we don't even know, and to celebrate each other. So our connection, for me, I wouldn't say a sheer coincidence. It was bound to happen. I was ironing long before you even slid in my DM, because I think I told you I'm following your page already. So it was just like, it was destined for me to connect with you, because for me, I just want to learn. And you're one person you are full of wisdom, and your teachings it comes off very simplified. It comes off in simple, everyday, practical things. And that's what struck me about you. And when we met face to face, I was like, oh, it's not just a social media charade. There is so much going on social media. People can look a certain way because of branding or packaging, I should say. But when you meet them, it doesn't even add up. But you, it was even better. I feel like what you even share, it's not enough representation of who you actually are. You're everything goes. I love you. I love how you even relate with people, high, low. You come to our level.
Our level.
Come on, mom. You are it. Take your accolades now.
I will receive
You know
it.
what it means to me to be able to call you on a first name basis. I'm humbled. I'm honored to be in your life. I'm humbled, and together we can do so much.
Yes. That's the part I love the most, that you are, because I just called Chichi. I said, I'm coming to Nigeria. She's like, sis, let's do it. Right? How far? And honestly, I've really been blessed by women like you. And this is, the first level of passion, I think, is having a true desire to pour out into the world and to bring good things into the world, right? And I think, that's what you show, you show up that way. I think that's so important. For me, us coming to Ghana, do you know Ghana is my first African country that I visited outside of Nigeria?
We are hospitable.
Do you know what?
Ghana is home to everyone.
It is. Do you know? Ghana was the first time I realized I can feel at home, and it's not my home. I came to Ghana. Do you know? I'll tell you the story another day. But when we came to Ghana, we didn't have anywhere to stay. I lied to my sister that we had a place to stay. I was on an adventure kick. I arrived. My sister was like, "What? So where are we staying?" I was like, "Let's see." But fortunately, we had flown with somebody who was Ghanaian, right? Who was a friend of a friend, and they were all on the same. Yes, and she invited us to her house in East Legon.
You had even a whole protocol, at the airport. Yeah, I remember that.
So that's how we ended up being in Ghana. That was many years ago. No, what I told you was my last trip. This was many years ago. Again, we were hosted by a Ghanaian woman. And it was, for the first time, I realized, wow, I can be at home outside of my home. It was beautiful. And so coming back to Ghana this time around, this is also why I'm also doing these lives, because I want women to see how wonderful it is when you connect outside of your initial market and your initial group, how wonderful it is. But, we've been fun. You and I can talk randomly forever. I want us to talk about how to become rich from your passion. Girl, you're rich. Let's talk about it. At least say in Jesus' name.
In Jesus' name. Oh my goodness.
Let's talk about it.
I'm very comfortable.
Yeah. How did so tell us how you started from meal prepping, from your weight loss journey to meal prepping to then owning restaurants, one, then two, then now you're even teaching, I see with is it TLC?
Yeah.
Yes. So please take us on your journey.
All right. So, NyoNyo started off with my weight loss journey, but as a kid growing up, my mom has always been doing something with food. I was raised by my grandma at a point. My grandmother too, I always saw her doing buying and selling, sometimes with raw food stuff. So market space, there are market days in Ghana. It still happens. But this is 30 years ago. So there'll be market days, and my grandmother moving from one town to the other just to meet their market days so she can sell off her goods. I saw that happening because it was with raw food stuff. Then my mom came into the picture later on, I think when I was almost about 10 years old. I realized my mom also was passionate about cooking. It wasn't her actual business or anything of the sort, but what struck me was a lot of the time people are eating from our home. People will be checking on my mom, be like, oh, that your banku, can I get some? Can you do something small for me? And all this is for free because it's not her job. So people don't know how to ask her to do it for as frequent as they want. So as and when they come to our house and maybe there's a celebration when they're going, lots of takeaway. Oh, can I have a little bit of that sauce you said? So it went on, and I think someone told her at the time that why won't you actually do this for a living? Because this comes off to you naturally. You do it with so much, like it's so effortless. You don't even think it, you don't even plan it, it just happens. And you truly enjoy it. And people also enjoy it. And people are making you understand that there is an opportunity out there that if you sell to them, they might buy. But because you are not selling, they are not able to ask you as frequent as they will. So she saw the opportunity then she just jumped on it. Fast forward, I started my weight loss journey when I was actually, living with my parents, because I lived with my grandmother growing up. Then I moved with my parents. I moved in with my parents. At the time, okay, I don't lie, I don't like cooking. Me, cooking, fire, I don't want boiling eggs is even a problem. So that was one difference I had with my mom. It's always like, Chichi, you don't want to cook, you want to eat. How your husband will stop fire, this that kind of thing. So fast forward, this is me. I started working in corporate and I started gaining so much weight. I said, oh God, what am I going to do? I signed up with all these gyms. I did all these things. I go work out. Then I come and I eat like every day, like nothing is happening. So it's not like I take 10 steps forward and then I 12 steps back. Then I read somewhere that said in weight loss, it takes 8% of the work done in the kitchen and just 20% at the gym.
Yeah.
That was what changed everything. So I decided, you know what, I need to tackle it in the kitchen. So I started, and then, oh my God, the weight was just shedding. I was shedding lots and lots of weight. Everywhere I went, either people ask me, Chichi, are you okay? Or they'll have nice things to say that, like, oh my God, I see you're doing something and it's looking well. You're in shape, you're looking fit. It even granted me my first interview. So this is what actually, my weight loss actually brought me to the limelight. It got me popular because I shared it before and after at the time on Instagram, and it just went viral. That was when I landed my first interview with a very renowned journalist, Ohinire Gifty Auntie, someone I really, really, truly admire. It was my first interview, and she invited myself and another radio girl who had also shed a lot of weight at the time. So when we were all sharing about our story, our journey on our weight loss, she was more into the fitness side of things, and I was saying I was doing it in the kitchen. Little did I know that a lot of women are battling that as well, because I'm not just growing up. I was about 23 when I was granted this interview. And I was like, oh my, these grown women, they're asking me, what did you eat? Now I walked them through. Now, the host is asking, Chichi, it really worked? Are you serious? I said, yes. So after the interview, she told me, would you do this for me if I pay you? That was it. I saw an opportunity. That's one thing I've realized, that my mom saw an opportunity and we didn't miss it. I saw it too. And oftentimes these opportunities come dressed up in overalls. It comes off looking like work. Yeah. So if you're not smart, pick the cue and then know that nothing in life comes easy. Anything good doesn't come easy. So whether you are sleeping, it takes a lot of work. It takes energy. Whatever you do, whether you're smiling, you are jumping rope, whatever, it takes some work. So you have to choose your level of work or what you can die for. So I was like, I do this. Yeah, I do this. I do this myself. I'm not lying. So if this woman will pay me for it, why not? But for me, because I was in corporate, I did things a bit differently. I'm not like the next girl who will see the opportunity and just go start cooking and calling like, Madam, it's ready, coming back. I told her, I'll get back to you. I need to do my visibility research and I need to tap into the market to see whether there is a bigger market for it. Because if I'm to cook just for you, then it's not business. It becomes like a hobby. Because I have an 8 to 5. I told her I'll get back to her. She gave me a month. It took close to 8 weeks. But I was updating her that I'm still working on it. I'll let you know once I'm sure and certain I'm going with it. While keeping her waiting, I was working on my brand name, my logo, my business registration. Because I was in corporate. I was an HR. I was an HR at a very young age. So I saw how businesses operate. So I knew that even if I'm going to start this as a side hustle, whatever it is, I want to do it properly. So I did all that stuff. I even set a date for a launch, even though I didn't have a brick and a mortar. Even though I knew I was going to use social media, I understood social media at a long time that is actually your office. That's actually your website. So it has to be done well. I did all the flyers, shared on social media. Facebook at the time was big. Instagram, we were new to it. But the energy was actually pumped into Facebook. That, hey, watch out, I'm coming. Just so that I can build some crowd.
Yeah.
So that when I start, I have numbers. So I was gathering data during that time with the flyers and everything going out. People started inquiring, I want to subscribe. And what I did was I knew that salad is very perishable, so I cannot come and gamble with this business. What I did was I enrolled out subscriptions. I don't know. That's one thing with starting my business, that it looked as if I had figured it out, even though I was figuring it out. Because of the corporate experience, I knew some things that I had to, get it right. I need the structure.
Yes.
So I started opening subscription for people, and I wanted to work with a pre-order. So I know the numbers I'm working for, not that I prepare and then I either don't sell or I run out and then there are more people asking. So I had to start off with a pre-order so that I can actually plan my day, because I still bear in mind I still have an 8 to 5.
Yeah.
So I did all this before actually giving out a date that this date is happening. So the day I actually started, the packs I sold the day one cannot be compared to any packs I sold during that salad business time. That was 2 years. It was a record. My first day sales, I was never able to break it during my 2-year window, focusing on only salad, juices, and sandwiches. I never broke it because the launching was well done. The anticipation was there. Like, people just want to know that. And other people actually second guessed it, because if you know me and you know that Chichi doesn't like cooking, you're like, she can do it for herself. But does she know what she's getting herself into?
Yes.
Doing it for other people. And it's different palettes. It's different. What might work for me, all my taste right, because at the time, it's not about taste. Even though it was very good, it was more about the quality, what I'm feeding into my body, what I'm pumping into my body. So it was more medicinal than whatever. So that was it. I never broke that record. And that was the business was booming. I graduated with my corporate for about 1.5 years, 1.5 years. Because for me, I have to see that this is real.
Yeah.
I manage my risk. I'm taking risk for it, but I have to manage it in a way. And I wanted to be sure, because what I'm truly passionate about, again, is people. I love people. When anyone asks me, what is your talent? It's weird. I'm not able to answer, because I say it's people.
Yeah.
I want to see the girl next door happy. I want to see that lady in my circle happy. I want to see that man in my space happy.
Yes.
I put other people's needs ahead of mine. I just grew up to a place where I knew that, no, Chichi, you have to water yourself to be able to keep watering other people.
Yeah.
So for the longest time, if you are happy, if I make you happy, that is my high. That is my happiness. That's the ultimate goal for me. When I do anything with you, when I come on your live, when I join your party, I want to be the one who was dancing nonstop, because I want your party to be fun.
Yeah.
That is me.
Yes.
Whether I'm a good dancer, whether I'm in the mood or not, but once I'm there, I need to be present.
That's right.
So it's more about, you were invited for this party. It's a party, it's a celebration. what can I do to make it better? It's not just giving. It's about being present.
You bring
When there's music, you cheer on. When they're singing happy birthday, please join in. Don't just be bummed out there sitting in the chair. Then we should have stayed home. So I'm just passionate about people's happiness, seeing people happy and developing people, because I studied human resources. And for me, I didn't pursue a course that I didn't know what I was going to do with. Before I even went to Shara, I knew that I love people. So I asked myself and I asked my dad, what can I study in school that involves people's development? People being happy, people being at peace, people's needs being taken care of. Then my dad told me, I didn't even know there was a course like it. My dad said, then you have to do human resources. That's why I read human resources. So that's what makes me tick. That's my passion.
Wow. So I'd like to underline a few things that you shared here, because this is like a master class. This is a mini MBA.
Yeah.
Mini MBA.
That's why we are going to do 10 minutes and we are done. We cannot do them all.
Right? Because it was so good. So I want to share a number of things that I found, right, as that I want to highlight. So the first thing was that, just for anyone listening, passion is often a legacy. So your mother passed on a legacy, whether even though you didn't like to cook initially, right? Or not just your mother, your grandmother. So entrepreneurship was in your blood. It was passed on, this legacy, number one. And I think that's such an important message for women in general as well, to recognize that we pass on legacy. And it's critical to share with your children and to let them see you going after your dreams, because that legacy, now what Chichi has been able to do is build on what her mother did, right? And what your children will do will build on that as well, right? So I think that's really critical. Then the second thing that I love that you mentioned, right, was the vulnerability in sharing your story opened up a door for you. The vulnerability in sharing, this is where I was, your weight loss journey. Because I've shared stories like that, and I know actually it's hard. People don't recognize that it's hard because they think, oh, you're just sharing your win.
No,
but you have to share where it came from.
Yeah.
Right?
Because you don't want another sister to go through it, or you don't want them to feel alone. You want them to understand that it's a process and they trust the process.
That's right. Yeah. And people, you shared your day one. People don't like to share their day ones. They like to share where they won. But when you share from a vulnerable place, people connect to you. People buy a story. Simon Sinek says, start with why, right? So you shared your vulnerable moments. That's your why. People connected to that, right? And then the other thing that I liked about what you said, because a lot of passionpreneurs, because it's like, just live your passion. You just jump into it. You're like, oh my God. And then you don't have a plan. You had a plan and a structure around your passion. It's what I describe as the masculine and the feminine side of business. Yeah. The feminine is the flow, the creativity, the passion, but you brought the structure from your corporate world, right? Okay, well, thank you, Gifty Auntie. I love this idea. I want to explore it, but I'm going to go and think about the structure to make it sustainable. I want to make sure this makes sense. So you took time to structure it and present it properly to the world, which is what has led for you going from, hey, that's what led to you becoming rich. Let's just call it what it is. Let's call it what it is, right? That's what takes, because there are a lot of passionpreneurs that are not rich. And in fact, I can speak from my own journey. My first 3 years of doing this, I was like, all heart, all creativity, all flow, no structure. And so I was just like, oh, I don't really care about the money. I didn't care about the money. The money didn't care about me. So I was doing it for the love of it. But over the years, I realized I have to put some structure in place, because I need not only to be able to make some money, I want to live a certain lifestyle. And this money, this particular experience I'm creating has to live up to that and bring in the money. So I had to put structure around it. So you put structure, you organize it, you package it a certain way. And here's the last thing that I wanted to highlight that I love that you said, and I want to share this. This is a story about Steve Jobs, Apple and Microsoft. Apple and Microsoft both came out with the iPod. Remember when they had the iPod music players before it was all in our phone? And Microsoft had their own version. Apple had their own version, but it was only the Apple one that stuck. Microsoft's version failed. Why? Right? Because Steve Jobs, who was the person we all know, the iconic Apple leader, right, said our goal was to build an insanely great product. Someone asked him, why do you think yours won and theirs failed? Because our goal was to build an insanely great product. Their goal was to make money. So in all of your storytelling, I did not hear my goal was to make money. All I heard was my goal was to make people happy. I want people to be happy. I want the girl next door to win. That focus on how can I deliver this extraordinary experience, extraordinary product? How can I make people happy? How can I bring the love into my business is what I have seen is the secret sauce that creates one profitable, prosperous business owners. Mm-hmm. So I just wanted to highlight those things for those of you listening and taking notes, right? Because if you want more, you have to go and sign up for TLC. That's in your
TBC.
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 TBC. I'm saying tender loving care, but it's TBC.
I like that.
Tell me, what does TBC stand for? What does TBC stand for?
The business of catering.
The business of catering. Yeah. It's like I will sign up for just in case. I love it. So when we left off in your story, you were sharing how you packaged. It took 8 weeks to go from idea to actually getting all the market research, and then you launched with just salads and juices and whatnot. Now, tell me how, because a lot of people get to that place and they're doing okay, but you didn't just stop there. You've now opened 2 restaurants. Is it just 2?
A third one is in a week.
You now have a conglomerate. You're not a mogul, a restaurant mogul. 3 restaurants, successful restaurants, right? You are the top catering, one of the highly sought after is what you said, right? In Accra, right? And you are also an influencer. Yeah. You're a loving wife and mother. Uh-huh. Still looking fly, giving it to us on the, hey, don't give us, how can we take it, right? You're giving it to us. So tell us how you went to that next step. What's the next thing?
With every business, if you don't actually add on, diversify, you plateau. Yeah.
Please, hold on. Say that one more time, please. Someone needs to hear that.
If you don't add on, diversify, you plateau. That's it. You'll finish. You'll be non-existent. And just as you've started something, giving people ideas, and they'll start cloning you, what we call copycat. But to be able to stay ahead of the game, you have to be learning, unlearning, doing things differently. Mm-hmm. Not to stay ahead of the game because you're in no race with anybody, but to always discover another version of you. And then the business. Because you know what? I say this to everyone that whatever you were doing, do you know that you can actually have a second, a third, and a fourth leg in that business? So let's say NyoNyo is my one leg. Influencing is my second leg. Mm-hmm. TBC now is my third leg.
There you go.
I have a consultancy for recruitment, HR, independent contracts only, that I render services to certain companies for. That is my fourth leg.
Come on.
With one leg, you're stable, but if something happens, that's it.
That's right.
But with 4 legs, if you lose one leg, you have 3 legs. Even if you lose 2, and let's say you lost one on the left and one on the right, you have balance.
That's right.
So whatever you are doing, find the second, third, fourth thing you can do in the same business. So someone say, how does influencer come to play? When catering, food business started here, I was one of the first people that really took their time to document my setup, video pictures, go with my team all dressed up. At the time, people found it like, what is she on about? We just ordered food. What is she on about? Why are you here all dressed up? They're looking for the kitchen. They cannot find, because this is me. I didn't come looking like the average Keisha, what you have in your mind, like a dropout, someone who doesn't know what they're doing, somebody who is confused and landed themselves in cooking because there was no other option. No, no, no.
Ooh, come on.
I come ready.
Mm-hmm.
I come looking professional. And I would document our setup, the service, the experience, ask for reviews and stuff like that. Because for me, it was not just cooking in my backyard.
That's right.
It was the business of the catering, the art to the cooking. So it was not just to...
You are building a brand.
And go, I'm building a brand. And in so doing, in documenting, taking pictures of me and my team and stuff like that, I realized sometimes people might like the idea of they want to see what you do, but they want to see that it's not robotic, the human face behind it. So people started even commenting and liking and pulling. I pull more traffic when I post my face. That was when I realized that, this face is even another thing. I cannot come and waste it.
Okay.
And I love taking pictures. So it's not as someone is forcing me to do something, I'm going out of character. No. Whether I'm being paid for it or not, I take pictures. I enjoy taking pictures. I enjoy taking pictures for people. I like to pitch the idea of people. Let's do photo shoots for this your birthday. Come on, we cannot let this birthday pass. I'm all for that. So if I'm going to do that and get paid, even if I'm sleeping, I'll do. So it became another leg. And I realized HR is still me, even though I'm not doing it full-time 8 to 5, even though I just do it for a few people who know that I offer that services. There is a bigger pool because I realized that catering is becoming so big a thing. The industry is growing and is blowing out, and it's a very lucrative industry. If you do it and manage it well, trust me, you never go broke. Why that is because even the madman is eating.
That's right. Everyone eats.
Everyone eats. I always say this to people that the top 3 most important people, not to say that nothing is important, whatever you're doing, whoever is watching, if I don't mention, it's not that to say that, but I feel this is the backbone to everything. It's agric, the end product of agric, which is the food, so hospitality businesses, and then hospital, pharmaceuticals, and stuff like that. Yeah. But it all starts from agric. So this is something that if you do it well, oh my God, you're in for the long haul, and then you're going to leave a legacy for your children's children, provided they come and they manage it properly. That's right. So that was how TBC also started. I realized that there were a lot of people that have come after me that don't have a hang of it just because they don't have people to teach them, people to walk the path. But I was blessed to have my mom, who has over 3 decades under her belt cooking for people, which she's still doing. So I had a mentor. I had a coach living with me till I was 28. So she literally held my hand. I started cooking my food in her kitchen.
There you go.
But sometimes she'll correct me, no, do this, do that, do that. So I had one.
And everyone needs one.
Everyone needs one. That was what TVC is all about. That's what bred TVC, the thought of the fact that someone is so confused, and people started asking me, Chichi. I realized that it was taking a lot of time, so I had to actually have something for it and dedicate the time and build a team and have a structure for it. Then TVC came along.
Love it.
Yeah, so there's so many things we can bet out of, even our individuality, our stories.
Yes.
And influencer, it became a huge thing when I started sharing my fertility journey. Vulnerability,
That's when I met you. Yes.
Yeah. Vulnerability is a very powerful thing. Don't think it makes you less of somebody else. It makes you weaker. No. You never know when you share your story. Even one, you get help. In sharing my story, I had help. Yeah. I had someone to actually connect me to my gynae.
There you go.
Yeah, because oftentimes people want to see the end of it. So let's say in my case, a typical example is while you are going through your infertility journey and stuff like that, people never share till they have the baby, and then they start sharing. No, I was sharing at every loss. Why that is because I wanted people to see that I'm able to live above it, because I come up as a happy-go-lucky girl, and I want them to know that I'm intentional about choosing to be a happy-go-lucky girl, because I cannot come and die over spills. I cannot come and die over what should have been.
That's right.
So you should be able to do that too in whatever thing that is happening in your life.
Yes, you're modeling
to live above it.
Authentic resilience.
Authentic resilience. is the word. Thank you for this. So that was why I started sharing, because I realized that a lot of people are dying in their own hole that they have created because they feel that it's just them.
That's right. And they're alone.
And they're alone.
Yeah.
So I said, no.
Yeah.
Probably this is happening to me to birth the whole ministry. This is happening to me to be able to, because I have a voice. I see the good in everything.
Yeah.
Because it builds character. And now I even look back, I don't want to be so religious, but I look back and I say, place and time, seasons, it's very important. If probably I had those kids earlier, I don't know if I could have had the balance. Because the time they came, I think certain systems were in place.
Yeah.
My business was thriving. I could actually take a rest for a whole 8 months to actually get these babies out and no high risk and stuff like that, because I was a high risk carrier. So I had that time to stay behind, work behind the scenes, not even work at all, just so that I can have the baby. But ask yourself, if they came at the time where I was still actually trying to get my business to, have a foot, I don't think I would have been here. So if only we can trust the process, whatever it is that we are going through, and know that it's all for your good. Things don't happen to you, they happen for you.
100%. You better preach. Yes.
You will take things a lot easy, but it's not easy going through it. So I can understand, and their feelings are valid. Anyone watching, the feelings are valid.
Your pain is valid, but there's a particular saying. I can't remember who said it, but he said, pain will happen, but suffering is optional.
Yeah.
And suffering is when, like you said, like what you discussed was perspective. Clearly, you must have been in pain. I went through a fertility as well, because I remember when I read your story, that's how I got introduced to you. Because there was a post you did about it, and it went viral. I saw it somewhere, and I said, "Who is this woman?" And I loved the vulnerability to your. And even though my child at the time, because I gave birth to one child, I've mothered two, by the grace of God, because one was a bonus daughter that I gave when I was married, and she's still my bonus daughter now, right? And so I have two daughters, but I only gave birth to one. But I remember I went through miscarriages and whatnot, so I remember the agony that I felt in that time when you're hoping for a child. And so I really connected to what you said and the heart, and it even touched me, even though I was no longer on a journey. So it was a very powerful share. I wanted to connect that vulnerability to something else that I see happening in the chat box that I also think is a secret sauce. But before I even mention that, I want to say something that you just shared about your 4 legs, right? The 4 different streams of income. Because the other thing I see, I want to really make sure that you hear Chichi right? Because I loved it. We should have multiple legs. In case one breaks, you have other ones, right? Yeah. Very critical. However, this is what she said, though, that I heard. And when I work with clients, this is what I help them do, right? There was cohesion between what she was doing. They were all a part of her. It was not like she was chasing down, this is the latest thing. She's not selling bitumen over here, chasing this, and you make yourself crazy trying to do 10 different things to have multiple streams of income. I believe that God is so good that he has created multiple streams, I can't even say, multiple streams within us. But if you know yourself, they'll come out of you. So listen to what she shared. The catering came out of her. The human resources came out of a deep love from her. The influencing, the photos, and what was natural to her. So sometimes what happens is we go around looking at other people's strategies and we try to implement them, but they're not natural to us. And so we frustrated. So she had cohesion in what she was doing. And this is the piece where I say that you discovered what made you iconic early on. Because what makes you iconic is the thing that is uniquely in you. And this is for everyone. So the thing that makes you iconic is what God has created uniquely in you. And I want to connect something that's happening here that I also think. So all of these are your iconic factors. Your personality, your style, because you have a style, natural style, right? You have an eye, which is why your packaging and all, you have a natural aesthetic intelligence, right? But then this is another thing I'm seeing that's happening here that's connected to your vulnerability, your warmth, those things.
Yeah.
If you've noticed, those of you here, I've noticed it. I haven't said anything about it because we've been engaged in a conversation. But there's so many people that are coming on that are saying to Chichi, my sis, my friend, my person, hi, my God. Like you see,
I was just reading them and
and
I
you
was
see
like, wow.
they're so excited. It's love. Right? And this is another thing I say, you have a gift. Another person that I know that has this gift in Nigeria, and she's actually coming to the Ghana experience as well, is Tara Durtoye, right? Yes, Tara is going to be teaching a relationship masterclass.
Oh.
Relationship building. You have, it comes out of you naturally, right? And so, and Tara is like that as well. There's some people who are just so naturally gifted in the way they connect to people. I believe that probably everyone that, so many, I tell Tara this, I say, everyone that is your friend thinks they're your best friend. I feel like that as well, right? So many people feel like, and when you're with that person feels as if, oh no, Chichi's my person. No, she knows it's me. My relationship with Chichi is special. I don't know about yours, but mine is special. You have that ability.
Oh, Jay, I love you too.
You see your
One of
people,
my workers.
you see them, they're coming on, and that's a very special quality, right? And so when you understand your qualities, the things that you have going for you naturally, and you know how to leverage it, you cannot help but become rich. You know, the scripture, you said you don't want to be religious. Me, I don't even apologize for it. I'm going to talk about the Bible. I'm going to talk about Jesus, okay? So this is the thing that, you know, the scripture says, give thanks to the Lord your God, because it is he who has given you the power to make wealth. And this is what I firmly believe, that if we connect to who we are completely, and we accept ourselves, love ourselves, understand ourselves, master ourselves, and begin to manifest what God has placed inside of us, wealth will come. You don't have to stress it. Yeah. It will come. But too often we're looking outside of ourselves rather than looking inside of ourselves. So I wanted to highlight some of those things that Chichi has shared with her story, right? So that as you're taking your notes, you're like, okay, okay, right? And remember, those of you that are interested in catering, you have to go to TBC to get the rest of it. So Chichi, I wanted to, you know, I know that we've kept you for a bit of time, right?
Yeah, but I'm on holiday, so my sister is taking me out for dinner. You know, I'm in your country now.
I know. Yeah. What part of where are you now?
I mean, around the DMV.
Oh my goodness. You know, I'm coming there sometime soon. Offline we'll discuss in case we might catch up. But yeah, no, absolutely. I know you're going out to dinner, so we're not going to right? So why don't we begin to wrap up this conversation, because you are pouring so much out to us. And I want to ask you, what are some last pieces of wisdom that if someone is listening to this broadcast and they came on specifically because they saw the title, How to Become Rich from Your Passion, what are some key things that you would say to them that they need to think about?
I say this every time, and I tell almost everyone, I've said it in too many lives or too many interviews. Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, you can achieve it. So if you're passionate about anything at all, and you believe you belong to that industry, you believe you are that secret sauce that is missing in that industry, and you work at it, I mean, the sky is even, we have to go further than that. And I say this also that, listen, passion is one thing. Yeah, before you start, before even you get discovered because of your passion, you will serve. I say this with so much conviction that the one code that I've lived by is service to man is to God. If you are only pursuing it for the money side, which is what we all need because survival is a real thing. And even if you want to make any difference in the world, you need that money.
That's right.
Yeah. So definitely that's one piece of it. But if your focus is about the money, then you lose it. But if you think about it that you're here to serve with that passion that God has given you, that talent, you are here to serve. Trust me, money you cannot count.
That's right.
You cannot count.
It will follow you.
Yeah. It will follow you. You attract it.
That's
You
right.
don't have to go looking for it. I mean, now I'm not even able to advertise this, that, because truly I've manifested things in the universe, and based on the work I have done, the service I've delivered. And when I say service, not that
The
the
value.
goods and services you,
The value.
the value. So passion is one thing, but if you're not able to actually give value, give an all-round customer experience, so it's bigger than it. I just want you to pursue that passion relentlessly and put service as your bedrock. And trust me, the money, it will follow you. It will find you. It will find you. So just believe you can do it. And you can do it.
Ooh, I love it. And that right there, I don't think there's anything more that needs to be said. It was like a mic drop there. So Chichi, I want to say thank you for coming on and sharing so openly from your journey, right? And those of you in Accra, Ghana, we are coming to you, iconic.
And
meet Chichi as well.
It will be an experience of a lifetime. If you miss out on this, it will be like the room will be full of powerful people, and we are all just going to impact. We're going to connect. We're going to network, and breath out. Like a lot of things will be birthed out of that encounter. And I urge everyone watching this to actually don't even overthink it. You need to be here. Find your spot, because I know there are limited spots now. So please, we have for you. We cannot wait to have you here in Ghana, Accra.
I cannot tell you how excited I am, because and this is what we're doing differently, because a lot of tourists come to Ghana because you guys have, you understand, like you said, you're welcome.
Right? Yeah, we are hospitable. Yeah,
you're very hospitable, and you understand the structure of inviting people. So you've like cornered the market on Africa now, right? So everyone's coming to Ghana. Here's what we're doing that's a little bit different. We're hosting 3 powerful events for women in Accra. Not just are we bringing a tour of women from the US, from the UK, from Nigeria, but we're actually hosting some events in Accra for the women in Accra.
Wow.
The October 14th is Love, Beauty, and Womanhood. And we're going to go deep into some hard conversations. We've talked a little bit, just touched on some vulnerability, on infertility, and some of those things. I shared a little bit about my, my daughters, including that I have a stepdaughter, and I'm no longer married to her dad, and she's still my daughter, my love. We're going to talk about what real life looks like as women at this.
Yeah, we need to own our stories as women. We need to own our stories. Yeah,
we're going to have
what makes us unique.
Yes. Exactly. And it helps us blossom. And it helps us, and when a flower blooms and blossoms, the bees come. So I don't know what kind of bee you're looking for. You might be looking for a money bee. You might be looking for a honey bee. Whatever kind of bee you're looking for.
Whatever bee you're looking for.
Bloom, so that bee can come. All right. So we're going to bloom at Love, Beauty, and Womanhood. And then we're going to have the WOW Summit, where we're talking about women, opportunities, and wealth. So this conversation, we're deep diving, and that's October 20th. And on the 21st, we're having a gala night where we're celebrating all things iconic. I cannot tell you how excited I am. I'm even going to have a custom kente, something made. My first kente.
I cannot wait to see the look. I know you rock it.
You come and help me. You'll be my consultant. You bring your eye, right? So we can get something fancy and fabulous that represents this experience. So I'm so excited. Thank you so much for partnering with us and hosting us and coming on board as one of the women that is welcoming. I think sometimes we have all these ideas about, women here, there, women don't support women. I said, I've never had that experience. Women are so supportive all across, the women I connect to. And I'm so grateful. So Chichi, go have a wonderful dinner. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. Thank you. And I cannot wait to see you in Accra.
Yes.
Okay.
I can't wait.
Bye, love. Thank you, everyone, for joining.
Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful night. God bless you.
Bye.